Hey, good morning, guys. Now that that nonsense is over, we can get the day started. I had to go through and reorganize all of my metals. It was driving me nuts. I built a cart out of some random stuff that I had laying around. I had some old casters laying around. And the roll bar for the Snowcat, which I'm not going to use because it weighs 200 pounds, I took that out and used that to make a cart. And it rolls really nice, surprisingly, even though there's a massive amount of weight on there. So, glad that's done. Let's talk about the Snowcat build. Good news is it's going to continue. The alternate news is that it's going to take me a while to complete the build. There's a couple things that I have to do that are out of the norm for a build like this. I'll get into that here in a bit. The guy that I got the Snowcat carcass from, Rob, has narrow axles, okay? So he's got narrow axles to replace the wide ones that he gave me. He does not have a wide rear diff, and I'll touch on that here in a minute. He is gonna drive up the weekend after Thanksgiving, and we're gonna do a parts swap-a-roo. He's going to give me a bunch of narrow axles, all the narrow axles that he has, and he's bringing me some 36-inch wide tracks rather than these 32s, because when you go with the narrow setup, if you have 36-inch tracks, your overall width ends up being 99.5, and as many of you know, in order to tow something wider than 102 inches in Oregon, Washington, or most states, you need an oversized permit, and I don't want to go that route. I want to be able to take Rusty with us in the snow, wherever we want to go, and not have the hassle of dealing with an oversized permit. So 99.5 inches wide is what he should be when he's completed. What else? Let me show you what we're going to be working on today. So today's project is going to be this beast. As I said before, Rob does not have a narrow rear diff. In fact, these rear differentials are really hard to come by. However, he does have more of the axle tubes and axles that are wide. So he is going to bring me a spare set of those. Here comes the fun part. And the cost might be substantial, although I don't know because I haven't gone out there and talked to him yet, which is why we're doing this today. I am going to take the axles and the axle tubes off. We're going to take some measurements, and I checked once, but I want to check again. I believe each side has to have 4 5/8 removed from it, from the tube and the axle. Here's the kicker. When you cut apart and weld axles, they usually don't do so well. However, the company that I'm going to out in Clackamas, I believe it's called Performance Axle or something like that. They've been around since 1979. They've been modifying things and doing custom builds and stuff like that for other customers for quite a while. They have all the tools and machinery they need to actually create an axle. So whatever length I need, they can use my old axles as a blueprint. I actually get to keep those without modifying them. They will create a whole new axle, and then I decide what type of torsional forces are going to be applied to it, or let them know what type of torsional forces are going to be applied to it. I'll give you a little hint here. There's going to be about 500 foot-pounds of torque applied to this rear differential, which is a common upgrade on these. So that might give you an idea of what power plant and transmission we're going to be using. But in order to get these axles cut down, they're going to remove the material from this section here so that the plates that actually connect to the frame narrow up, and then the sprockets line up with the existing axles that are narrow and all that good stuff. So this differential has to be taken apart at some point anyway. Might as well be now. It's a good place to start. So if I do find something odd or out of the ordinary, I have a chance to fix it. Now's the time. We're going to start with the most expensive part and then work our way up knowing that this is a good used part. This differential only has 400 hours on it, which is extremely low for a Snowcat of this age. And all the seals obviously have to be redone. You can see that it's been sitting for a while and some of the fluids leaked out. Although the bucket still got quite a bit of oil in it, so we're going to drain that out and start disassembling this entire differential to get these axles and axle tubes out, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started. Alright guys, little change of plans. I got the axles pulled. Right as I was getting ready to load these into the Subaru to head to the axle place, I got a phone call from a guy in Alaska who also happens to be an LMTV owner. He's on my LMTV page and he owns a bunch of Snowcats. So, he's gonna find me a set of these narrow track axles and try to work out a deal so that I don't get screwed, basically. So I'm gonna hold off on bringing those axles in to get them modified, and we'll kind of go from there. He's got 3 different sources that he knows of, and I'm hoping that one of those guys is gonna have what I need to make this happen. So I think that's probably gonna be it for today. I got a bunch of cleaning up to do around here and get everything back in the garage, but I think that's gonna complete this episode for the Rusty build, Rusty the Spryte build. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And as always, take care guys. I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.